Would you mind taking us back, going into that fight and how you were feeling?
Well, leading up to the fight, given my opponent's history, like he has like 33 fights or like 32 fights when he was coming into that fight. He goes the distance a lot, and he's a hard-nosed fighter, and he has a really good right hand. So for the 2 months leading up, my brother was really getting me ready for war. Like it's gonna, he told me it's gonna be 15 minutes of hell. So I prepared myself mentally for that. Like had the guys torturing me in sparring and in wrestling and in training and jiu-jitsu. And I went to like this the Montreal Wrestling Club, which like it's home to like a lot of the national wrestlers for Canada. So they're throwing me around the room because I heard in one of the fights when Eric Qileng was fighting, one of the commentators said that his dad was like this really good wrestler. So I was like, okay, maybe he has that in his mind to take me down because not too many people have seen me on the ground. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna prepare for that as well. So just getting my whole game ready. And then luckily he finished in a minute, so I was really happy. So you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best, and this time the best happened for me.
That's one area I feel like we don't hear a lot about is the process of trying to figure out what your opponent is preparing for and how they want the fight to go and how you want the fight to go. How much time is dedicated to trying to figure out what their game plan might be and preparing for contingencies?
It's interesting because like I always plan for my opponents, and I try to stick to that plan like hardcore, like in my mind to like to not deviate from what I'm supposed to do. And then now, in like my last three fights, I really realized that other guys are game planning for me just as much as I want to game plan for them. So I have to be careful and not be too stuck on my game plan because if I come expecting them to do something and they change it, I have to be have the flexibility of mind to adapt to the situation. So I really didn't expect Eric Qileng to throw low kicks because I thought he'd be worried about me taking him down because I'm black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I was like, there's no way he's going to kick my leg. He's going to wait to hit me with a right hand. Like you've seen me get knocked out in the past. And he has a really good counter right hand. And I thought that was his best way to win was to counter me with his biggest punch. And instead he came out kicking. So, I just had to adapt in the moment and I hit him with a nice counter. So I was really happy, because, there's that Mayweather is really famous for saying this. He says, true champions adapt. They can adapt to anything, So like I'm really just trying to adapt in my fights as much as possible.
Yeah, so you have all of that groundwork and then you're going in and you're kind of open. You have your kind of what you want to have happen, but you're open to what's going to happen. And it ends up sometimes working out way better. You're not in a 3-round long 15-minute war. You're in a very quick fight. What was the feelings afterwards?
Oh, incredible feelings. I was super, super happy because there is a relief in the sense that when you don't take the damage, and I had prepared myself to be ready for lots of damage after this fight. They call him the Mongolian murderer, and you watch his fights, they get very intense. He doesn't usually go down. He marks guys up, he hurts them, he gets hurt. Like it's like a barn burner type fight. So I prepared myself mentally to like end up in the hospital. In that night, like with cuts or something. I thought something was gonna happen, and then like when I dropped him, I put my hands up, like in my like the way I saw him fall, I knew he was done. But the referee didn't come in, so I had to jump on him. But first, you get a wave of relief that there's no damage, and then you get the joy of winning. And then it was really cool because like when Firas came out and he gave me that hug in the cage, he told me if you would have let him up, I would have slapped you. I said, yes, I know. I finished the job. I finished. I got on top of him and I finished. It's happened before, when guys, they raise their hands, they think the guy's done. The guy gets up, fight continues.
Yeah.
Would have been very embarrassing. Firas would have beaten me.